Could the Kansas City Chiefs trade for Stefon Diggs? What? He just signed with the New England Patriots. How's that possible? Well, we got some new rumors to get to that we'll tell you about here on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Are you a Chiefs fan from the state of Kansas? I know that's been an interesting topic as of late with the stadium debate. So if you're on that side of the state line, like the video. I'm always going to be loyal to the Kansas side of Chiefs fans. As somebody that went to KU and lived in Lawrence for 6.5 years, I still have love for the Missouri side too, though. If you're a Chiefs fan from Kansas, like the video. If not, comment and tell us where you're from. We get new people watching all the time. We just want to do a survey of where our audience is watching from. Let us know, and we'll get started with this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Last Word on Sports has named the Chiefs as a top trade destination for Patriots wide receiver Stefon Diggs. And I know what you're thinking. Why would the Patriots already be looking to get rid of Stefon Diggs? He seems to be a pretty big signing for them, giving Drake May an all-pro receiver weapon. He just got there. What is going on here? Well, let's explain more from Last Word on Sports of why Kansas City could be an option. The Kansas City Chiefs don't need another wide receiver this upcoming season, but it doesn't hurt to continue building the depth. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Marquise Brown will likely be the main contributors to Patrick Mahomes' offense. But Diggs could complete this package deal to a real fiery unit. If any team can get an athletic back in the right mindset, get an athlete back in the right mindset from off-the-field issues, it's the Chiefs. Now, the context of this situation. There was a new report from the Boston Sports Journal that even though he just arrived not too long ago, the Patriots are not thrilled with Stefon Diggs, which is fascinating because they've barely seen him. OTAs, minicamp, that's really been about it. What all has happened in a short amount of time? We don't see teams get rid of big-name guys they just signed very often here. What's the deal? What is happening here? As I do my best, Brian Windhorst. Well, here's more context from the Boston Sports Journal. The team isn't thrilled with Diggs for whatever reason. A legit number one becomes available, and Diggs goes out in a trade for new number one wide receiver. Long shot, but I'm not totally ruling it out. So they're not thrilled, and here's some more context. There was a controversial video from Diggs this offseason shortly after he signed with New England. And in this said video, Diggs handed a bag of a pink substance to a group of women. I can't make this up. Video's out there. You can go see for yourself. And it kind of rubbed the Patriots the wrong way that this happened. And there could be some other things going on around the scene, behind the scenes. But it's not a good look for Stefon Diggs, who's already had a handful of issues over the years as is. Quite frankly, I'm surprised by this for a number of reasons. One, that we're talking about Stefon Diggs already potentially being on the trade block. And then two, that the Kansas City Chiefs are a potential trade destination for him. If they wanted him, they could have signed him in free agency when he was available out there for any team to go play for. The Chiefs could have made that happen. My question, now, why would you give up assets? You take on the same contract that he signed in free agency, and now you're giving up draft picks instead of paying him the contract that he had beforehand. So that doesn't add up. And here's another thing. The New England Patriots, newsflash, folks, they have not been a good football team in the last few seasons. And if the Pats are concerned enough where they're saying to themselves, yeah, we might be better off without this guy, knowing how depleted that roster looks, that's a major red flag. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that Andy Reid doesn't have a good track record with taking care of some troubled players and working through those circumstances. He does. But to me, that should be alarming. If he can't fit in New England, why should the Chiefs potentially take on his contract, and give up assets too? So, our pinned comment today. Should the Chiefs trade for Stefon Diggs? You got two options here. Type T for trade, P for pass. Be the GM and let us know here on today's edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Folks, want to make sure you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report as we're bringing you daily news and rumors. We have weekly live shows and much more. We have breaking news, whether I'm in the studio or I'm at home at the Jones Zone. We're keeping you up to date, up to the minute analysis that you won't find anywhere else right here in your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video. Make it happen. We appreciate you guys. You're the absolute best. Subscribe now. You'll be glad you did. So, more on Stefon Diggs. If you need more reason to potentially not trade for Stefon Diggs, he could actually start the season on the PUP list. That is the physically unable to perform list due to an injury that he suffered in Week 8, a torn ACL. And there is talk that he might not be ready when the season begins. And so if you were to trade for him now, you could be trading for a guy that might not see the football field anytime soon. And then when he does see the football field, how quickly is he going to get up to speed? That's a whole nother concern in its own self. Diggs, a four-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro. He was the NFL's receptions and receiving yards leader in 2020. This is the fourth team he's played for now after a short tenure with the Texans, before that with the Bills and with the Minnesota Vikings. I think we all remember the infamous image of him after the AFC Championship game with the Bills as the Chiefs locked in their ticket to go to the Super Bowl, and he was just crying away, and I loved it. But you look at the numbers from Stefon Diggs. He's been very solid throughout his career, extremely consistent. 1,200 yards off over 100 catches in 2021, over 1,400 yards and 108 catches in 2022, over 1,100 yards off 107 catches in 2023. Then last year, he was off to a decent start with the Texans prior to the injury with close to 500 yards receiving off of 47 catches. The contract that he signed that the Chiefs potentially would have to take on would be about a 3-year, $69 million deal. Nice. With about $26 million of that guaranteed. But here's another element to this of why you potentially might not want to trade for Stefon Diggs. If he is not fully healthy and does not see the football field, there is a scenario that the Patriots could end up just cutting Stefon Diggs and owe him absolutely nothing and get out of this contract, and then he hits free agency again. So if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe instead of making a trade, you just wait and see if he hits free agency and signs for a cheaper contract than what he's making now. With all that in mind, if you were to make a trade, I think that knowing what we know with the injury stuff and the off-the-field situation, I think his trade value has dropped significantly. I'm probably not giving up more than a fifth-round pick at this point for Stefon Diggs. As crazy as that may seem, I think that's what we're looking at with Diggs, with taking on his contract, with the injury concerns, the off-the-field stuff. If it gets to that point where they're shopping him, I don't think his market is going to be that great, in all honesty. Knowing what we know, with all those details I just laid out for you, is Stefon Diggs worth giving up a fifth-round pick? Type Y for yes, in for no. Chime in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Nike Chiefs t-shirts are on sale now with free shipping at chatsports.com/ChiefsNike. We have plenty of shirts to choose from, my friends, as we have all sorts of different shapes and sizes for your liking. It's getting hot out. You need some Chiefs gear. You want some Nike Chiefs gear. This is $10 off plus free shipping. Sounds like a great deal if I'd say so myself. We also have other Chiefs merchandise available at that same link. Go check it out now, chatsports.com/ChiefsNike to get yours today. Now I'll wrap up with a few final thoughts here. Number one, I don't think Diggs is actually leaving New England. I think that we're going to need some more information on this before we potentially get to this point. I think he's staying for now. But it is worth monitoring closely, keeping your eyes open of what's going on in that situation, whether it's a potential trade or release, whatever. And then also what potentially happens with the Kansas City Chiefs as the season goes along. If Diggs is still there, if the Chiefs have some injuries, maybe they need to potentially weigh their options, and Diggs could be there at the trade deadline potentially. And then you look to get a deal done if he's still there and has not been released. But we'll continue to follow it. We'll see where things go from here. But we're definitely keeping our eyes wide open on this possibility of potentially bringing in Stefon Diggs. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us, and we shall see you next time right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report.